Today's video continues our month-long stay in the Florida Keys. As with most other days, today we did not have a plan for what we were going to do. We just jumped in the car and drove. Our first stop was Rain Barrel, which you see in these videos, and I'll talk more about that in a second. But also in today's video, you're going to see the rest of our day. We eat lunch at Island Fish Co. We continue south to Bahia Honda State Park, stop at our favorite dessert shop, and end the night with an art walk. Today's video covers my favorite day from the whole month-long trip, and I hope that you enjoy it. We are at Rain Barrel Village, located in Islamorada in the Florida Keys. This place is definitely one that you've driven by if you've ever driven through the Florida Keys. It's very noticeable because there's like a huge lobster statue out front that's very popular to take pictures with. It's also anatomically correct, so fun fact there. So Rain Barrel Village is like an artist like collective type of place. It's very funky. There's a bar, there are a few little type of cafes where you can get a little bit of food. It's morning, so we are getting some Cuban coffee, some cafe con leches, which we are very excited about. And so there's just a bunch of different shops around here that different artists have. So there's pottery, there's clothing, there's art prints, all sorts of things. And my cafe con leche is coming now. But yeah, let me show you around. This place is super cool and I think you're going to love it. It's a definite must stop if you are in the area. Rain Barrel Village has a few cats. I didn't see the sign that says please don't pet the cats until after I had pet the cat. So that was my bad and I know that for next time, but I loved seeing them. This was our first time at Rain Barrel Village. I'm not quite sure how, but it was, and I was shocked at how far back it goes like you see here. Every time we've driven by, I thought it was just the front building, which isn't huge, but this place is really big and it goes back really, really far. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. That was a shock, and it was such a cool area to explore. I had no idea. So now I see why it's on everyone's must-visit list. After the Rain Barrel, it was time for lunch, so we headed to Island Fish Company in Marathon, Florida. We've eaten at Island Fish Company a few other times, and I've always liked it, but I will say that the food is fairly average. I always walk away feeling like, oh, that was a good meal, but not feeling like, oh my gosh, this is the best food I've ever had, if you know what I mean. You're definitely going there for the views. Island Fish Company is right on the water, and the views really are amazing. The first time we were there, we even saw a small shark, and there's always fish swimming around. So yeah, like I've said, we've eaten there before and we'll eat there again, so it's good. I just don't want you to think I'm recommending it as the best food of all time or something like that. So with that being said, they do have a large menu, so everyone will be able to find something they like. We also love their mixed drinks, and they do have really good reviews online. They're busy a lot of the time, so I think a lot of people really love it. I just wanted to give you my honest review. Now it's time for Bahia Honda State Park, and I have so many good things to say about this place. To be honest, it deserves its own video, and I'm not going to be able to cover every single detail, but I'll let the videos speak for themselves about how beautiful it is here. Since it's a state park, there is a small fee, but it's reasonable. It's like $8 per vehicle, and there's a few other fees, like if you're coming in alone on a motorcycle and things like that, but it's a reasonable fee. If you're heading south to the park like we were, then you'll most likely drive across the 7-mile bridge, which is so cool in and of itself. Bahia Honda has so much to do. There's a boat ramp, kayak rentals, camping, beaches, and of course those rental type things do cost more money outside of the admission fee. But to me, the number one attraction is the bridge. So there are views of what was once the Overseas Railway, and you can even walk on part of the old bridge. The views up there are just absolutely breathtaking, and I love this old bridge so much. It's such a cool piece of history. So Henry Flagler was the man behind the railroad, and at the time, the railroad was just a massive undertaking. It went from Homestead all the way down to Key West, and it took like 4,000 men to build, several years. It was just crazy. And at the time, it was widely known as the eighth wonder of the world because that's how big of a deal it really was. So that was like a really fast 5-second overview. There's a lot more I could tell you about the railroad and about Henry Flagler, but that will have to be in a different video. I think that helps you get kind of the gist of it. So I've always felt really connected to the Keys, as you know, if you've been following me for any amount of time. And I've also always been so interested and have felt so connected to the history there. I love this piece of history so much, the railroad, and I'm really interested in Henry Flagler as well. So anyways, I think you get the point. I just think it's really cool. Unfortunately, the railroad was destroyed in the 1930s by a hurricane, and that's when they shortly after built what we now know as the Overseas Highway. But there's the railroad right there, the old railroad. How beautiful and how cool. And then this water is absolutely breathtaking as well. So yeah, definitely recommend visiting Bahia Honda State Park. At this point, I was just having the best day and I just wanted to stay out and keep going, but our dog was back at our Airbnb, so we stopped by Sweet Savannah's for some key lime pie for dessert for later and got back to the Airbnb. I've showed you more of Sweet Savannah's in a prior video, so I'll link that in the description if you want to see a little bit more of that shop, but it's our favorite place to stop for dessert. We went home to let the dog out and just kind of relax for a couple of hours, and then we wanted to bring my mom to the breweries. Little did we know there was an art walk that night, which actually happens the third Thursday of the month, so we just kind of stumbled upon it. It was so cool. There was live music, local artists, art galleries, food trucks, and all of this was located right outside of the Florida Keys Brewing Company, so there were drinks as well. It was honestly so much fun, and I'm really glad we stumbled on it. Like I mentioned, it's the third Thursday of every month, so if you happen to be down there during this time, I highly recommend checking it out. It is a blast, but it's also a great way to support small local artists and businesses. This was just a perfect day in the Florida Keys, and hopefully you enjoyed following along. Our next video in the Florida Keys was another one of our favorite days there, so make sure that you're subscribed to see that one as well, and we will see you next time.